everyone, welcome to another Finally Friday video. This week I'm going to be doing a lot of stamping. This is a one-layer card with lots of masking. So I haven't done a test run of this, so I hope it's going to go through okay. The first thing I did was I took a sheet of Inkadinkado stamping mask paper and I cut it down, just one of the sheets, down to a standard size card. It's the same size as my card front that I'm going to be using. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this is the same size as the stamping mask paper. And I'm going to be using this stamp here. So the first thing to do is I'm going to stamp this stamp on the area where it's going to be on the finished card, but I'm going to do it on the stamping mask paper. And since it's a wood block, and it's a bit hard to see where I'm going to be stamping, I'm going to use a Stamp-O-Majig. Make sure that's all inked up. Okay. Lovely. I'm going to come over to this right here, and I'm actually going to draw with a T-square ruler. I'm just going to draw a little line. That's going to help me get the stamp lined up in the right spot. So I can have the text go across right there. That's where I want it. Okay, so that's where the stamp's going to eventually be on the card. Okay, now the plan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some lines with my T-square ruler around the stamp area. Okay. And now I'm going to draw some kind of sloping lines down in here. We're going to do sort of like a paper piecing look, but we're not going to have any other paper involved. It's going to be kind of interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to sketch these on here. I want one to come down about like that. Okay, now I'm just going to draw in those lines really dark. Okay, now I'm going to cut this apart and I'm going to assemble it on the front of the card, and I'm going to do it like I'm going to stamp things in pieces. In fact, I'm going to label these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so I remember the order they're in. So I've assembled all the masking pieces on the card, and we're going to start by just taking off this one at the top. And you have to remember that we're going to be reusing these later, so you want to be really gentle when you're taking them off and try to make it so they don't curl very much. So I'm just going to set this off to the side, just let it sit there for a minute, and we're going to start by stamping this. Let's see, this is the Kraft background stamp from Hero Arts, and I'm going to put down some black cardstock just for to keep it clean, my area, and I'm going to ink up just this bottom section of the stamp, and then I'm going to turn this over so I can get this edge lined up, and then really press on the stamp and get that on there as much as I can. Okay, so now we have the graph on the top, and the cardstock underneath is protected by this masking layer. Okay, so now we're going to put this mask back on. As best we can. And we're going to reveal the next layer. And once again, peel it off really gently so it doesn't curl as much as possible. Set it aside. And now we're going to use that Stampin' to stamp that sentiment once again. Lovely. Oh, by the way, this is a penny black stamp. This is the So Much Love stamp. Okay, and now we're going to put this mask back on. Okay, and I'm going to take off this one that's numbered number 1. And set that aside. And we're going to use a dot stamp for this. This is from Inkadinkado. Stamp it right there. Just have some dots in that area. And this one we're actually going to do a couple different things. The first thing we're going to do is take some Versamark and really make it quite a bit darker. Okay, and now we're going to take this stamp, and I believe it's from Memory Box, and it's called Birch Branch Print. And we're just going to try to get this area right across here. But I'm going to ink up most of the stamp because we want it to be really good. And it can even not show all of it. We just wanted that branch texture right across that area. Alright, now we're going to use the stamp set from the Stell Rose collection for my mind's eye. I'm just going to do a bunch of the doilies all across this section. And this one we're going to do more of those dots. We'll do a little bit of the branch. So we'll do the Versamark. And then the branch. Okay, so here's where we do the big reveal and see if all of our stamping worked. We have the grid, and we have the sentiment, and all these little layers. Oh, I'm loving it already. Love. Okay, so there's a little bit of a gap right here, so I'm debating if I want to do some white lines. I don't think I do. I think the only thing I'm going to do is round the corners on the bottom. And take my glossy accents and go over these hearts. I think that's, you know, after I've done that, I'm going to call it a day. Okay, so there's the card for this week. A little bit time consuming, a little bit complicated to get that pattern on there, but I really love the effect. One thing I want to know is if you have some kind of spacious stamps like this branch stamp, go ahead and use Versamark ink or sponge on some other color, and that'll help you get your bands of the paper piecing stamped masking paper, because otherwise you wouldn't get a clean line in the pattern. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.